Okay, now we're live. Welcome back,
Right.
everyone, to another town hall. And let's share my screens. We get some notes up here. Sarah, are you able to help us with notes? Do you have the link?
Yes.
Yes.
Call from 17272289478.
All right. So let's see here. Quick review of action items. Okay,
Call from
we got an announcer in the background. Is that you, Sarah? Maybe.
No, it is not.
Rick or Sarah have,
No.
Oh, Rick, am I hearing an announcer from you somehow?
An
I think it's
announcer?
an Android phone reporting incoming messages.
Oh, is that what it was?
That's what I think.
Okay. We'll just pretend it didn't happen and move on.
A lot at stake in this election, and that's why I'm urging you to vote for Brian John.
I hear it.
Yeah, you're not hearing that, Rick?
No, I'm on my PC. My Android isn't even on. Oh, kind of on, but just a dummy screen.
Okay, not sure what's happening, but I will just proceed. I was to send out the chapter audit email, which I did. I've got results down below that we'll look at. Figure out how to get logged into the e-NABLE matching platform. I've not done yet. That's next on the list. Adam's gonna not be able to be with us today, so we will get updates from him next week. John, you did send out the final annual report for Dora, right?
I did indeed. Ben and Sarah's help.
Very good. I think I'm going to take this one off of our to-do items. This one about you and Ben meeting with Ian. I think that is already well underway. We'll have further discussions about our interns. So let's just go on. Thanks to Rick for preparing our metrics again. Everything is looking good. I'll just call attention again to the fact that our e-NABLE fund is around the point where we usually start trying to fundraise again. And John, help me out here. We've got another, do we have one more year on our commitment from, is it from Dora?
Correct. One
Okay,
more year commitment from Dora for $20,000.
And do we have any further commitment from the Milstein Foundation, or is that ended with Bob's departure?
You know, I don't know, but if we had our act together, we would be writing them a cordial note.
Especially now that you have an
trying to
annual
maintain
report.
the relationship.
Yeah, now that you've got the annual report, you could even repurpose that, you know, use it for theirs. Okay, we should probably do that because those are our best prospects, I think, at this point.
Agreed.
On that note, I'll just mention we have completely failed so far at finding somebody that can really dive into our online assets and help to revamp our website and make things clearer and more, you know, better presentation and make things easier to find. But when we get into that, one of the aspects of that should be the fundraising part. Because I've seen some great websites out there for organizations like ours where they do a much better job of setting clear, sort of defined, like, hey, if you donate so much, that will let us do X. And if you donate this much, it'll let us do, you know, Y. And, you know, laying it out in a very clear way where you know what you're supporting and what can be done with that. And I think we could do a better job with that on our website of encouraging people to support us. Anyway, I don't think there's anything else here to point out on the metrics other than we really don't know what the chapter number is yet, and I'll explain that in a minute. From the hub, Connie Marchek had a couple of interesting posts this week. So the first one is seeking advice for somebody that wants to ride their bike. And so she's just asking for anyone that's had experience with this, and a number of designs were shared. Kyle, it looks like, shared an image. I didn't see a link for that one, but looks like a cool adapter. Casey, let's see, working on a bike adapter now. So there might be a new one coming along. And then several other designs were shared from Thingiverse here for existing designs. So I don't know if she's made a decision yet, but if anyone else knows of good bike adapters, bike handle adapters for it's a hand limb difference. Okay, so if anyone knows of others,
That's great.
share them
That's
there.
what the hub is for.
Exactly. And then we've got one from Maria Tomilenko. I don't know if I pronounced that right. A Ukrainian MS student at NYU Engineering, and she's hoping to help make devices for Ukrainians in need, which John already commented on.
And I will report on that when
Okay.
you asked.
That's fine. No, I was just going to say it. I highlighted it because it seemed like there's some good synergy with what Adam's been working on for Afghanistan and those sort of logistic challenges we've been dealing with. But tell us what you've got, John.
Well, so this is a report on the Ukrainian initiative. In your email box, Jeremy, is a draft press release that Sarah and David Mazer from Adapt 3D have drafted, and I've revised. And if you want to open it, it sets the stage for the following report. After months of meetings, Maria, who you mentioned before, David Mazer, Sony, the head of e-NABLE Greece, and Sarah and I are preparing to attempt to get publicity for an initiative in which volunteers with 3D printers will make flat splints for fingers and hands and arms, which can be both shipped to 2 distribution points, one in Birmingham, Alabama, where David Mazer, who is a high school student, a Ukrainian American, is based, or to Greece. And from there, they will be taken to a surgeon in the Ukraine who already has some prototype splints and is going to send some pictures of them on the arms of wounded soldiers. And this press release will go out through PR Newswire through an arrangement I was able to make with Bio for Climate. And then we are going to want some way of really rattling the cage within e-NABLE and to mobilize all of our people with 3D printers. I think actually that our email list and our newsletter and our calendar is the right vehicle for sending a message to everyone we know, saying if you have a 3D printer and you've wanted to do something useful, this is your chance. Because obviously there's an acute need. We've avoided prosthetics because they're not really appropriate for fresh injuries. But I think we've connected the dots, and this could be a significant initiative, which I think is falling into place.
This sounds like one that would benefit, John.
So, Jeremy,
it sounds like this would benefit from a new landing page that lays this out very clearly. Here's your files, here's what you do, here's where you send them, and then maybe give that a short URL that we could use to share.
Well, if that's not in the press release, it should be, because if you go to adapt3d.org and click the obvious link, I think it's about, you'll see that there is a single page that is, so scroll up to the top.
Well, I mean, you've already made my point. I shouldn't have to find it. I would suggest that if you're going to promote this.
No, I know what it is.
Okay.
Yes, but however, I would like you to click on the donate print time button. That URL is meant to be the single page that e-NABLE people can go to. He's going to put an e-NABLE logo on that page.
Okay. Well, maybe we just create a short URL
Yes.
For our own and point it to this. But yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's going to be launching soon, it sounds like.
I think we'll probably do they'll do a presentation to town hall meeting a week from today. And hopefully that will be a coherent and complete enough thing that we can take that video and share it and put out a press release and send emails to everyone we know and try to make a thing of this.
Okay. Sarah, could I maybe ask you to share a link to this portion of our recording as a comment on Maria's post so that she knows that we're
Yeah, of course.
going to get involved with this?
Of course.
Oh, and Maria came to that
Um,
meeting, by the way.
Oh, so she already knows about it. Good. Okay.
And
Yes, Maria is a master's student at NYU, Ukrainian, and is going to be testing this whole workflow in the next week, along with Gary Edwards and his son-in-law, whose name I didn't get. The two people who came to the new member meetup have just acquired printers and are eager to help out.
Okay, great. Well, it's been a long time since we've had one of these organized efforts and have needed to put a call out there for just, 3D printing in quantity. So it'll be really interesting to see how this goes.
Yep.
And then we have another one from Connie Marchek, which is raising an interesting discussion. She says she made a kinetic hand for somebody who grew out of that device and is now requesting either a K1 or a Flexi Hand 2. And she says, I'm trying to figure out what benefits these hands over the kinetic hand. And to me, what immediately comes to mind is there are none. I don't know if anyone disagrees, but in my experience, the K1 hand is very difficult to put together and is just not very functional. It looks pretty, but I haven't heard anyone speak highly of it in terms of being a functional, useful device. And the Flexi Hand 2 just doesn't grip very well compared to the kinetic hand. I just don't think you get a good grip strength on it at all. So again, it's a cosmetically, sort of attractive device, but I don't think any more so than kinetic. Anyone else have any thoughts on that? I don't see any reason that you'd go to one of those over a kinetic hand.
Well, I think I agree with you on all of those points and suggest that you put them in a comment back to Connie and ask her to find out more about how what leads him to make that request.
Yeah, I suspect it's the aesthetics, but we'll have to ask.
The Flexi Hands aesthetics are not significantly different from the kinetics aesthetics. I mean,
no, not significantly, but like I could see with the K1, the K1 has a very kind of that sort of cyborg,
That's right.
look to it. Maybe that's what the individual wants, but yeah, I will. I'll try to remember to come back here and put a comment in after the meeting. Okay, so on we go. As far as recurring meetings, I didn't have a chance to look into this. What do we have today? Oh, Bionic Design meeting today, which I guess Vivek is running. I don't really know anything more about it, but if you're interested.
Sarah does.
Oh, do you? Okay, Sarah.
Report on that meeting and on the calendar situation.
Yeah. Can you talk to us about that, Sarah?
Yes, hold on. I have an email right here from Vivek. So he said that Lawrence is going to present on using kinetic hand design with a servo.
Oh, okay.
Well,
All right, very good. And then let me just pop into the calendar here.
Right, and Sarah, how are we on? So the October calendar, because of the transition, didn't go out, but it's going to go on to the hub. And the November calendar, I think, is pretty much filled in and ready to go out. Is that true, Sarah?
I think so.
Oh, good. Is that already in the wiki, or is that just something on your end?
I don't think it's in the wiki.
Okay, I didn't know if you were just building it in there. Maybe
you didn't put it there, Sarah. It's not there, but.
Okay, so we'll just go off the calendar for now. So we've got the Bionics meeting today. We've got e-NABLE education next Friday. And then let's see, chapter leader roundtable will be after that on the following Monday, the 14th. And then we've got our new member meetup the following Friday on the 18th. And I don't think I'll bother going through the rest of the month right now. So we got plenty of time for that. So let's just go on for now. Thunder Gong, for anybody interested, that's that event with some famous personalities. I don't remember who, working to support those with limb difference.
The guy from Ted Lasso.
That's right.
Of course, the
Jason
famous Adam
Sudeikis.
Jennings.
I don't know what's wrong with my internet connection today. I must be having some, I'm getting a slow connection. Anyway, I'll let you look at that yourself, thundergong.org, if you're interested. I think that was somewhere down in the southeast. Annual report for Dora is done. Can cross that one off. Okay, e-NABLE chapter audit. I sent out the email last week. Email got sent to 252 email contacts. 100 of them opened the email. 35 clicked on the link in the email, and 16 filled out our form. And now we come to the challenging part of the chapter audit, getting the actual responses. So Rick, at this point, I may need to kind of hand things over to you. I could send the email out again. In fact, I think there's an option to resend it to people that, either didn't open or didn't click. But after that, it really just starts to become a matter of trying to reach out, individually, trying to contact them via their social media. Hey, could you take a minute to fill out our form, please? It becomes a process of just trying to hunt people down and ask them to fill it out. I don't think
hunt them down, wear them down, and then congratulate them.
But I was a little disappointed, I guess, 16 out of 200 and some, but well, I know people are busy. What do you guys think? I mean, should I just go ahead and send out the email a second time and ask people to pretty please with sugar on top, fill out the form?
Absolutely. It'd be very nice if you, can not nag the people who already did it, but for the ones who haven't, tell them this is the second request, and that we, if they fill it in, they will save us a lot of time, because the next step will be going. Just let them know it's not going to go away.
All right, I will give it a try, changing up the language a little bit, and I'll report back next time. And then I'm going to need to get Rick involved.
Yeah, but it's great that you send it out, and it's great that you can track it. So that's
we got good tracking with Benchmark. That's a helpful aspect of that tool. I'm going to save the next couple of topics until Adam is back to talk about the continue our Lumio voting discussion and talk about the 50 Legs partnership. I am still working on a new kit for the Bionics, which I haven't made much progress on. I'm hoping to get other people to fill in our spreadsheet with their insights. But at that point, I'm still gonna, I think, need some help from people with more skill and knowledge in this area to kind of figure out how to actually put something together. So I might be calling on you again, Rick, to help me with that.
Is that something that maybe they should open a dialogue on today at the Bionics meeting? Or
it's not a bad idea, but I don't want to, he's already got a speaker for today, and I don't want to take up too much airtime, because we already did a discussion in the Bionics meeting a few weeks back that led to this data collection effort. So I think what I'll do is I'll try to kind of maybe reach out by email again and ask those that haven't filled it out yet to do so. And then if I'm able to get a couple more to fill it in, then maybe for next month's meeting, I can join in the Bionic meeting and sort of share what was in there, and we can talk about how to move forward on a kit.
Or even like the participants, we could email the participants of the Bionic meeting, just so, because that's
I think that's pretty much
interested.
I think that's pretty much the list I emailed with the form and with the spreadsheet initially, but I'll have to compare. Maybe who has the list of Bionic meeting participants? Would that be Vivek? Probably.
I would look in the space, but it would be Vivek.
Okay, that's a good point. I can look in the space.
In the space itself.
So I'll make sure they're on the email thread, but I think I got most of them. So maybe we'll just go on. There's another one here, and I don't know if you were here when we talked about this, John, but I think it was Adam that was talking about how nice it would be if we could offer continuing education credits, or maybe it was you, Rick. I don't remember who this came from, but somebody brought up the idea of continuing education credits for doing e-NABLE work. And I thought maybe there would be 3 potential categories: for medical professionals like OTs and PTs, for students, and for teachers. I think each one of those categories would benefit from being able to get some kind of continuing education credits. where we left it off is somebody needs to do some research to figure out like who is the authorizing body or the certifying body, like who do we need to go through to, you know, to put together a proper certificate or letter or whatever that, you know, however that process works. I did it once before for an event that we did through 3D Universe, but I was partnered with an organization, BitSpace, who in turn was partnered with IACA. I don't even remember what that stands for, but it's an Illinois education sort of organization.
Mhm.
And through them, we were able to offer, you know, these credits that would be recognized at these different schools that were participating. But I wasn't really involved in the details of that. So, John, you have an education background. Do you know anything about what's involved? Is there a way of doing it that's not tied to a specific school, but where it could be recognized, you know, sort of more nationally or even internationally?
I have the impression that the best way to do it would be to find the right party to partner with. Adam's work organization might well be good to go for that.
Okay.
Brandeis may already be doing some of that activity also, and so we could talk to Ian.
Okay.
Um,
I just
but I
didn't know
have
what
no
the
live-
requirement. I didn't know what the requirements were. Like, would any school recognize continuing education credits as long as it came from any other accredited school, or like, you know, I don't know what those rules are about how this works.
It's a loose thing. I think the IACA
Okay.
is one of the organizations that issues the accreditations.
Oh,
Each
okay.
of these organizations, each of these accreditation organizations has its own criteria. And then the criteria are accepted or not by the various guilds that are requiring their members, whether they're OTs or PTs or doctors or teachers, to get continuing education credit. So it's
Okay.
it's not a simple and clear network, but tapping into someone who's already doing it allows you to say you'll get continuing education credit for this, and then the individual person who's getting the credit can check with their bosses to see if it's legitimate from their point of view.
Got it. Okay. Well, so seems like something that's still worth looking into. It would be a great motivator, but I'm not.
I think this actually is in Adam's
Okay.
ballpark.
Well, let's chat with him about it when he's back. I may be able to dig up a contact from IACA based on that previous event we did. I'll have to go through and see because a lot of the people that I was dealing with have moved on. But let me see. I might be able to make a connection there too. But let's see what Adam thinks first. And that next topic, obviously, we'll wait for Adam, his Afghanistan initiative. We'll wait to hear where that stands. So I had a call with Utkarsh Kumaran, Helping Hands Project. We've got a note down here, John. Is that something that's still progressing?
No, I think I may have dropped the ball on that.
Oh, this is actually under this.
some-
This is under the Afghanistan initiative. I didn't realize this was a subtopic. Okay. So I guess it was about
So
that.
then I probably would have, yeah. So I think I recommended that Adam follow up, but I don't know if he
Okay.
did.
Okay, so I'll leave that there. I didn't realize it was still under that topic. Assistance for those in Ukraine. I think we already got that update from you, John, right? Everything, it sounds like you've got a great
right.
initiative going there. So I'm going to go ahead and cross this one off. All right, let's take a quick look in desk. I don't know if, I think Rick has really been staying on top of things lately.
We should have one open one that just reopened this morning. Oh,
No, not the right
unless
view.
I'm really missing something.
Yep, just one open ticket, which I won't even bother looking at because you haven't had a chance to get into it yet. So,
Oh no, you might want to. This is a really.
oh,
good
you have taken care of it. Okay.
Well, sort of.
No, he says that it's interesting. You should look at it.
Yep. Okay. So it came in
This
in
little
Spanish.
boy is just awesome, and she basically, this is Santi, and we've been going back and forth for a couple days now on this little guy, and we've been translating things back and forth from Spanish to English to get everything working. But last thing she did was she sent me a video of him to demonstrate how much mobility he has in his nub, and I think he's an awesome candidate personally. And so the way we just left it was, let's get to work. We'll get this thing going. And I pointed her to the paperwork just to get, to fill in, the request for the device. But he's just a great little kid.
Oh boy. Well, I'll tell you, 150 megabits per second doesn't get you what it used to. I don't know what's going on. with
But
my
I
internet.
heard everything Rick said, and it's really good.
That we do have a
There
little
we go.
language barrier, but other than that, it's
¿Cuál es
any
el
cute.
que hace falta? El izquierdo.
El izquierdo
Pero tiene su codo, ¿verdad, Santi?
Sí.
Muéstrame su codo, ¿dónde está?
está aquí.
Ah, sí. Y usted sí puede mover su codo, ¿verdad?
Se lo puedo mover.
Ah, bueno. ¿Cuántos años tiene usted, Santi?
5.
Y usted tiene su brazo, su brazo con su mano.
Sí.
¿Como el de quién?
Tal vez como el de Iron Man,
De verdad. Ah, bueno.
pero tal vez pequeño.
Para que del tamaño suyo, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Gracias, Santi. Adiós.
Oh my God, he is so adorable.
We have covered a lot of the, a lot of the topsoil, as far as he doesn't have any pain. He was born this way. He does have musculature, beyond the elbow. He's got all the positives to be a really, really excellent candidate.
Well,
So,
and he's a
right
really
now-
cute and articulate.
Oh, he's
Sorry.
awesome. He's really awesome. But he was all worried. They were worried that he wouldn't be able to do this. So of course I had to send to Marcus. I said, please send this to Santi so he can see that absolutely yes,
That's fantastic. Wonderful.
Now,
And
this
so,
this is a really nice collection of video. If you get the some video of this most recent kid with his hand, it will make a really nice video story if they're willing to let us share it.
Yeah, she's really we've discussed that. She actually sent that video per our request.
Great.
Because we wanted to see how much mobility he had in the nub to find out if there was enough musculature to drive the device. And because he was born that way, he has really there's no pain issues or anything of that. It doesn't appear to be withered at all. We do, like I said, I've been asking her for, as many measurements as we can get up front, because there's going to be a little bit of problem with translation back and forth, but this will be a really fun one.
man, I really like how they did that, though. They gave you a
Yeah,
visual reference on the measurements and everything. Wow.
she did a great job.
Yeah,
And
really nice.
everything I've asked her for, she has come up
See
with.
that, I think that's more important than anything, because so often I know we get inquiries, oh, please help me. And we try to get some information or get them to do something and they go dark. So the fact that she's engaged and is responding to requests means we could have a really good outcome.
Oh yeah. She's super. I mean, she's just super easy to work with.
I would just encourage
And,
you to keep an eye on it, Rick, because I see that in your last email, you basically are handing her off to our instruction page of how to get a device, which in turn takes them or directs them to e-NABLE Web Central, which she may or may not have success with at this point. We're not really putting a lot of attention on it. And so I just don't want her to get lost, like, where she goes and fills out that form and then, just nobody takes it on or whatever. Maybe you and I should
That's
have a
why I
separate-
did not close it.
Good, okay.
Normally I do, but I'm leaving it open because I'm a little concerned with the language barrier on her filling out. I'm not really sure how that works when she goes to fill out the paperwork.
That's a good point too. So just so that you know how this works, I'll show you what we were able to do, because we had wanted to really get to the point of having true internationalization in e-NABLE Web Central, and we never got that far. What we do have, so when they go to request a device, right up here, we incorporated the Google Translate plugin, so they can switch it here to, Spanish, and it'll instantly translate the entire page into that language.
Okay.
it should be good enough. It's not ideal. It's not as good as a real human translation, but it should let them use the site as long as they know that that's there.
Do we
But
by chance have somebody that is Spanish speaking that maybe we could assign just as a, just as a go-between on this so we don't get lost?
yeah, I mean, it opens up a whole other list of questions, right? That gets us back into this whole idea of a human sort of oriented matching process of actually connecting this person with that person, which we had great success with, many years back, but we haven't done it in a long time. I think, Rick, you're in a great position to start doing some of that if you're up for it. Then there's the question.
I just don't know who knows. Yeah, I just don't know who.
So I think
Who
the
to
hub is the
ping.
place. The hub is the place to go. I know we have Spanish speakers, and the hub would be a good place to find them because I don't know who they are off the top of my head. I know some. I know down, if I think about Saif and some of the other folks in Mexico, I'm sure they have people that could help. But I think still a hub is probably the best place to find those that are available and willing to help. And then what I've seen done in the past is if you can help get the case set up in e-NABLE Web Central, which you could actually, maybe do for them if you have the information, if that makes it easier. One way, whether it's them or you creating the case, get the case set up in e-NABLE Web Central, get the photos uploaded and everything that somebody needs to work the case. And then you can actually post that case number in the hub or share that case number with whoever you find and say, hey, will you please go and, take on this case? So I've seen that, work in the past, but it needs somebody like you to kind of facilitate and keep an eye on things.
Yeah, the problem I've been having is I translate what she sends me with Google Translate. And there's just things that are going to get lost. And I just wanted to, I just was hoping to find someone that was Spanish speaking that might do a better job.
I think that's definitely the way to go as a very as a lesser stopgap measure. Did I share that AI based translation site with you?
You did, and it is awesome.
Okay,
it's just
it's still not the same.
Yeah, I think she has more problems understanding what I'm saying than the other way around because the translate does a good job.
Yeah. Okay. But you're right. We definitely want somebody that can just, speak directly.
And he's scared, the little boy, of course, and he doesn't know, and they don't know what can be done. And that's why I asked her, I said, please show him this video.
And where are they located?
They're in Guatemala.
Okay. I don't know specifically.
I believe
we have in Guatemala.
I believe, yeah.
I'm pretty sure we have some active folks in that area, but I don't know names off the top of my head. So I think the hub is the place to go. Check the chapter map, see what's shown in that region. Maybe reach out to the chapter in that area too.
I will do it.
Okay. Other than that,
cute kid though, right?
Yeah, I'm going to leave that ticket in your very capable hands. You're doing a great job with it. It doesn't need my involvement.
But I'm going to leave it open. I'm not going to close it because I closed it after our first discussion and it scared her. She thought we hung up on her.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because that's something I should have changed on. Let's see, where is it? Is it notif? There's somewhere in here.
What I'm doing is,
they shouldn't be getting that. Here.
Yeah, I'm trying to leave it open for that reason because I don't want her to think that we hung up on her, right? So that was going to stay open until I at least.
Closing a ticket, that's turned off. She should not have gotten any notification. That's how I always keep it that way because I don't want people getting notified when we close the ticket. So
I don't know.
Okay,
I'm just trying to be careful.
Yeah, she shouldn't have gotten an email. I'm very confused by that. I might have to. You didn't get a copy of what she received, did you?
I did not. Like I said, everything I get from her, I translate it to English. And then what I try to do is translate mine back into Spanish. The problem is I don't know how well the translation necessarily went. But I will ask her. I just want to make sure I'm keeping the dialogue open so she doesn't.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, in fact, ask her to forward a copy of the email that she received about the ticket being closed. I would really like to see that because according to this, she should not have gotten anything.
Okay.
But, that's fine.
Yeah, because I tend to close them just so, I'll close them for that reason because it doesn't mean it's dead. It just means, you know, you've
Well,
answered, right?
what you can also do is you can put it to another status, and then it'll push it over to the right. So if you just, instead of open, if you change it to, you know, either on hold, or you can create a new status or, you know, follow up, and then it just won't be sitting in that first column. But
I tend to do that like with escalations and stuff, but with this one, I wanted to be especially careful because I don't, you know, because of the language barrier, and she's very nervous, I think.
Okay. Well, let's see.
I believe it's his aunt. I believe that this is his
Okay.
aunt. I believe I had a little problem understanding some of it, but
All right. Well, I sure hope we can help. Okay, the healthcare roundtable, that's for Adam to update us on, I guess. John, have you heard anything further about that documentary Zainab was working on? He might have had to turn his attention elsewhere. I don't think I have much else that's that we need to get into today.
The answer is I have not.
Okay. Asset tagging, that's something Adam brought up again, so we'll revisit that with him. Don't think we want to get into any hub development discussion, R&D. We don't have any discretionary funding proposals right now. So yeah, that's about all I have on the list for today that I think really I want to go into. Let me just add, it's a small crowd today, so we can keep this one short if nobody else has anything. Rick, John, Sarah, do you guys have anything that you'd like to discuss? Anything you need help with?
we are converting all of our software development from iOS to Android.
What software development is that?
All the software development that we do for the actually for the bionics and all of that, Apple is making it very difficult for us, and for deployment and distribution. So we're changing all our development to Android now.
It's too bad there's not a. It's too bad there's not an easy way to have one code base that works for both.
Well, you sort of, depending upon your tool set, you sort of can, but iOS is just becoming a pain in the butt, and it's becoming just too expensive. They want you, of course, they want you to buy a new Mac every year, and you know you can't actually deploy an app on the App Store, on the Apple App Store, unless you have a Macintosh. Now, okay, that's probably all right for some people. We got around it by running Mac on Windows, but I kind of think we got caught, and it's just easier just to convert everything to Android at this point because it's just too expensive to deal with Apple right now. And the Android platform is nice because the emulators run on everything. We can run them on our Linux servers. We can run them on everything. So the Android just gives us a lot more ability to flex our muscles. And we can convert back to iOS some future date.
Sure.
As a branch, but until they just lighten up a little, we're going to stick with the Android. It's just easier.
Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to share?
I was going to express my hope that Rick will attend today's bionics meeting, because I think a bionified kinetic is a great idea, but I wouldn't be surprised if the modifications being done for the bionic servo kinetic could also be a platform for Rick's winch and accelerometer technique, which I think has a lot of promise. So without disrupting it, I think it'd be great to either attend or watch the video and see where we're going on that, because it may be relevant to the kit you're putting together also, Jeremy.
It might be. I still don't understand the apparent butting of heads that happened there in the bionic group with Rick, and I still don't understand the sort of the pros and cons of different approaches. It sounds like these guys today are talking about incorporating servos in the kinetic hand, which I've heard Rick say before he doesn't like because of much reduced torque and that sort of thing compared to the actuators he's been using. So I just don't know enough to be able to judge I would just, I would like to see, you know, in this community, I would like to see open-mindedness, and I'd love to see people, you know, working together to, you know, take the best aspects of different approaches. And I don't know, I was left with the impression that Rick felt a little bit, I don't know, I don't want to speak for you, Rick, but like your ideas were somewhat rejected, which is, I don't like to hear. I don't know why there's not a more collaborative sort of energy there. But
Yeah, I don't get my feelings hurt too easily, so I'm all right.
you know, that's
Right.
good. That's good.
I
Yeah,
was recommending.
I'm
I
not
was
going to be able to make the
recommending-
Bionic meeting today, but I will try to watch the recording and learn from that. Like I said, I'll plan to join a future Bionic meeting to share the results of our information gathering effort and see if we can come to some consensus about different components that might be recommended. But
I will join the meeting and I'll keep my mouth shut. That's probably the easiest thing to do.
That's always, that's a good policy. You can't go too far wrong that way.
well, I think asking questions is always fine too. All right. Well,
One
then
would think, yeah.
I look forward to hearing back on that. That's today, by the way, an hour and 15 minutes from now, starting at what would that be? 1 p.m. Eastern, right? Okay. If nobody else has anything, I think we'll wrap this one up a little bit early.
Jeremy, do you have some time to go over some technical issues with me?
Yeah, why don't we do that right now? I'll go ahead and stop our live stream here and just hang with me, Sarah. See the rest of you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.